Welcome to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. Jason Balin from Hard Money Bankers, co-host Ian Horowitz from Equity Warehouse, and back in studio, Jon Weiskopf from Blue Eyed Capital with the deal that changed his life. If you didn't tune in and hear John's original interview that we posted a few weeks ago, definitely check that out. Lots of bombs were dropped. It was pretty awesome. Talked about his transition into commercial real estate and into mobile home parks, and a lot of the good stuff that he's working on. So, John, good to see you again. Maybe let's just do a quick intro for the folks that maybe didn't watch or listen to your original podcast yet.
Sure, man. Jon Weiskopf, owner of Blue Eyed Capital. I started about 2 years ago, and 20-year expert, building design expert, in commercial real estate, and just trying to change the world one property at a time.
So do you have a deal that changed your life? And it could be a good deal, it could be a bad deal, but it's a deal that changed your life.
I got a deal that I'm doing right now that I am about to close on. And so it might be funny to talk about from a changing my life perspective, but it has been instrumental. I've been working on it for about 7 months now and 2 weeks away from closing. And it changed my mindset completely about this. I'm not buying real estate, I'm buying businesses. And I think real estate, and the reason why I bring it up, because I think it's important for new people. All these masterminds and all these classes and all these things you talk about really just talk about the real estate, and they really forget about, sure, but it's a business that you're buying, and it's just a business you're buying that's backed by a piece of real estate. But you have employees now, you have all these things. And so I'm buying an assisted living facility with one partner. And about 3 months ago, we were in a meeting, we were doing an update, and the day before I was on site speaking with the seller, and it dawned on me in this meeting that I was having with my partner, I was like, holy crap, man, I'm about to be the boss of 40 people. There's 40 employees, 40 nurses and maintenance staff and cooks and things like that at this facility. And it just, I don't know, it just sat in and it really just changed my mind about, there's a lot of things that I was not preparing myself for. Right. And maybe it was because, this assisted living facility is quite different from just buying a multifamily apartment building and hiring a property manager. And, maybe you got a couple, maintenance guy and an on-site or something like that. So it might not look at it, but two employees, 40 employees, they're still employees. And so, that one has been transformational. It's really changed the stuff that I go about learning, the stuff I go about reading, the stuff that I reflect on. What am I ready for? What am I prepared to do? What do I need to do to prepare? So yeah, maybe interesting because I haven't bought in the property yet, but definitely changed my perspective on the business that I got myself into.
Yeah, dude, you're spot on. It's the same thing with us with storage. You have all these customers now, you have employees, right? But even at that, even from the top level of looking at a company, and people treat real estate like a hobby. I know Jason sees it a lot more from the single family real estate investors. But there's a lot of guys that do it on the side that have legitimate businesses. And for us, it's turned into, well, it's more than just us. It's our employees. What do our employees want? Seeing our employees succeed with some of their backgrounds, knowing where they've come from, buying a $500,000 house, having 3 kids, having stability. It's more than just me and my business partner, Dan. It is the whole company. What do they want to do? How do they succeed? How do we recruit better talent? And it's funny because I always liked listening to how I built this before it got way political, but it was always cool just to hear founder stories of building gigantic companies, Southwest and Starbucks and all the biggest companies. And they all talked about people. And even Sam Zell, MI2 Subtle, he talks about building companies rather than just buying real estate assets. And I think that's a really important life experience that you've experienced that will change your life for the future. I know in our short 10 years, it's been wild to watch what we've been able to do, and with the help of employees where it's taken us. So
I think it makes you ask different questions, which I think is really that nugget or that thing that I think switches in you as an individual, right? I think a lot of people get into real estate syndication and stuff like that. Maybe you're just going to be capital raising. And so you maybe don't realize how important your role is. You minimize that. I'm just bringing money to the game, but your money brought other people's money in. What about their livelihood? What are you thinking about them? And what if that person owned a business and their investment is a domino effect out? I think we sometimes don't ask ourselves enough questions, and that can be from a due diligence perspective. But even that, right? You say, well, I went and looked at the loan. I went and looked at the building. I did. Okay, but what other questions did you not ask from a business perspective? Right.
Yeah, very good point. Very, very good point. I also think there's a maturity level to it as we've continued to do more and more deals, and you mature, and you're like, I'm not doing this assisted living facility because I don't want to be responsible for 40 people. That's me talking. I wouldn't do that deal because of that. And I get it, but I might have years ago, right? I'm constantly talking to lots of people. I'm like, do you really know what you're getting yourself into? This isn't just a passive real estate investment where you buy this property and you get a dividend check, right? Like, you're going to be working and grinding hard to do so. So I think you got to do be self-aware of what's going on and check. And I think that's hard to do early on. And, you might also not know if you're early into the game, you might not know what you want. It might seem like it's a good idea. So it all goes around. No, that's great. I think that was a very good example. Where can everybody, find you? Social media, website, contact information, things like that.
Sure. Website, www.blueeyedcapital.com. You can sign up for newsletters and, access to any deals that we have going. We're mainly 506C, deals. And then LinkedIn, Jon Weiskopf. You can find me on LinkedIn. Everything that I do, my experiences, my life, pictures of my son and I playing, going go-karting, things like that. Everything's up on LinkedIn. So try to be as transparent as possible with people.
That's awesome. Certainly appreciate you. Go ahead.
I'd love to know how blueeyedcapital.com was available. That's pretty impressive.
I bought every single potential Blue Eyed Capital version. And it's named after my son and my wife. They have blue eyes. I have brown. So don't get fooled by my photo.
Right on. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
Got it. All right. Well, thanks for coming on. We certainly appreciate it. Take care.
Absolutely, man.
Thanks for tuning in to the Real Estate Reserve podcast. Do us a favor and like, comment, and share our broadcast. It helps the algorithm and helps us spread the word too. Till next time, thank you for tuning in.